All right, everyone. And by we, I mean me, Ghost, and Cody are back. Hello, everybody. So I am gonna clean up the game board real quick here by going ahead and hiding this from everyone because we're no longer playing the game. This is the After Talk segment where we talk about stuff and thing stuff. And tonight's thing stuff segment is on the last year of Neon Inferno. Jesus Christ. I can't believe it's been a whole year. That kind of blows my mind right now. That is wild to think that this marks a year, and admittedly, like, we've had breaks and stuff. It's not like we've gone for a year consistent or anything, but we've done pretty good, I think, despite like one pretty big break between seasons 1 and 2. It's good. So I want to ask you guys, because I think I know what my answer is going to be when I give it. In the last year, and you could include season 2, season 1, whatever you want. What's been your favorite moment in Neon Inferno so far? Each of you, whichever one of you wants to answer first. Go
Ghost, you probably have something on top of your head. I gotta pick between a few here.
Sure. Oh yes, that's the problem. Because Wei is such a combat-oriented and, for lack of a better term, hands-on character. There's a lot of interesting moments that you can kind of pull out of the air.
Sure.
But honestly, I think if I had to pick off the top of my head, the most impactful moment was the first encounter with Yuria.
Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one.
That shocked stun of yes, I do have I could win this fight, but do I want to win this fight? Do I want to engage this fight? Mm-hmm. How do I trying to navigate that? It was cool. It really put me in the headspace of Wei and what I imagined he would be feeling in that situation. It was the perfect. I don't know what I do. I freeze for this turn. You have stun locked me.
Yeah. That was really cool for me as a GM too, because up to that point, Wei had been like he was tonight. I mean, he was a murder machine. He went through gonks like it was nothing. And then the one thing put in front of him that, yeah, he could probably win the fight, but like you said, does he want to even? Is that really something he wants to take on? It's the one person that could have stepped in front of him and walked away alive at the end of that engagement.
Yeah,
that was very cool.
Oh, do you want to hear my master theory now that we're on the other side of it of what I said? I think I said it during the break. I already have an idea of what the worst case scenario for my character personally would be, and it was after we had heard the name Black Swan. I was thinking they had retrieved Yuria's body, and because she had already been soul ripped, and they probably had her data somewhere, that they had been trying to cook her into a server. I was about to have a smash up a place, force roll a humanity loss. I was worried.
Yeah, no. Oh, that would have been interesting too. Yeah,
I'm glad we fought Crusher. That was a real boss. It was cool that you pulled out a real boss that wasn't just okay. Well, here's an Atom Smasher stat block.
Well, and the best part is you didn't see him die at the end either.
No, that's why I specifically had another day.
Another day, because that fucker's coming back. Yeah, no, that's Crusher's fun. It was funny seeing Diamond in chat pop off about it too. Just oh my god, it's Crusher. I leave for 5 minutes and it's Crusher. It's yeah, that's Crusher.
Yeah, don't leave for another 5 minutes. The fight might be over.
Yeah, but hi LCC, welcome. And before I get into chat's reactions to this, chat, if any of you want to add in, for those of you who've been watching the show for a little while, some of you I know are much newer, and that's cool too. If you've got a favorite moment so far from what you've watched either in YouTube in the archives or the shows you've seen live, if you're a more recent viewer, I know some people have joined since season 2. But in chat, I'd love to hear what your guys' favorite moment from Neon Inferno has been so far from this last year. But Cody, before I hear chat, I want to hear from you. What have you parsed through? And if you have a couple of moments, I would be interested in hearing kind of what your contenders are, because that is all good to me.
So call it a cop-out, but I think the entirety of just me replaying a med tech
Mm.
Since I had previously played one, and I don't think I had as much fun as I think I could have with Rat previously. But the entirety of the campaign of me being able to actually play a medtech and be that pivotal role for this party
Mm.
was probably just the overall, the best of everything. Because I started out season 1 trying to play a solo for the very first time ever, and just got fucking flatlined within like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, fuck that then. I guess I'm going to go back to playing something a little less combat oriented.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
funny that in season 2 you chose to go back to solo too for that. I think that's kind
yeah,
of funny in its own right.
yeah, I've learned how
Yeah,
how
you've
to
been a
how to
much better
not
solo
die.
the second time around.
Yeah, seriously. No, but like just being able to support. I mean, and I've always been like, except for Final Fantasy, League of Legends. When I played MOBAs, I was always healers. So like playing a med in Cyberpunk is nothing new to me as far as that goes. But I don't know, man. Just being able to pull people out that I know that would just be devastated if their characters went.
Mm.
It's a good feeling.
Hell yeah. No, I agree completely. That's really cool actually.
And honestly, your storytelling episode to episode has been just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, there's so many moments that like I look back at, like especially even when Hyde died, even like when Erica was throwing fire grenades in the dark garage.
Yeah.
The helicopter, the
That
helicopter above.
grenade almost invasion to this entire party apart.
Yeah, the helicopter drop into the church. That whole encounter was insanely long, but just sort of really well thought out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's
No.
there's a lot of stuff, man. Chasing down Persephone at the end of season 1 was big.
Ooh. Yeah, for your character in particular, that was a really good
Yeah,
one. Oh man. Yeah, because you're like the one thing holding Way from going full like plus ultra on her ass.
yeah.
Jesus.
Well, no, that's
Christ.
the thing too. After that initial thing, I realized that would have been a scrap. Like that would have been a whole 10-minute 1v1 combat. Like pull in some unique boss music for this. Like
Yeah.
that would have been a fight for the ages.
Yeah, damn. See, that's that, and this is something that was like kind of interesting to me too. Is when, because Erica, and I told you guys this in the finale episode, but Erica approached me about that before we went to that episode. Was like, "Are you going to have a problem if I go PvP with this?" And I told her no, because honestly, the way you guys interact at the table, all of you, like everyone who's ever played on Neon Inferno, seems to have this really good sense of like, this is just a game, and not to get too mad about when things go wrong or if someone acts against another's like interests. You guys kind of hold on to the spirit of the game in that regard and don't really have issue with that. You view the game kind of like I do, where the story is the important thing and everything beyond that kind of is secondary. So that has helped me. When you say my storytelling episode to episode is good, that's only because your guys' gameplay is just as good. Because like half the time, it's not writing, it's improvising over what you guys are choosing, which is like awesome to behold. Because for me, I'm like, oh yeah, that's part of why I got good at improvising, is because it's more interesting when I have to do it. Honestly, it's better that way.
It's pretty funny too, because even going pre Neon Inferno, it's sort of weird to see, because like I've played with you, me, and Erica have been in multiple campaigns at this point,
Yeah.
and like even with your wife and everybody else, it's just funny because we were so just the absolute most depraved players. Like, not, I mean, depravity is like like just
It's kind
everything
of
was
it's
innuendo after just
oh yeah, you're talking that
just
kind of depravity. I'm like, you guys have been murder hobos. You guys have been, yeah, you've done some shit. You guys have done
well, it's
some
funny
shit.
because like I've seen us evolve, and it's like, sure, we're still murder hobos at heart, but like everybody sort of like really refined their gameplay and their overall like role playing over the last 2 or 3 years. It's sort of crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so chat. So Diamond says the submarine tarot. So that was right near the end of season 1, where you guys went out to the meta key and sunk the entire plate of Militech off of that as like cover for meta, getting involved with whatever you guys were doing in Night City. If you guys remember that, you guys had a sub, and I think it was Ghost. I think it was 9 that did it.
Yeah,
Fired a torpedo and tarot crit on a torpedo.
I remember.
Yeah, that was a crazy one, because that literally made it so you didn't have a combat encounter. That was kind of nuts. And then LCC, I haven't seen a ton of the show. So meeting the dude with a linear frame is what I'll go with. Everyone seemed really excited about it. I think it was a previous PC. Yeah, it's this guy, the one that's like directly to the right side of my frame. That is Wei. Wei is the dude in the linear frame. Wei is terrifying. The fact that Wei has reappeared as an NPC in season 2 is a big deal. He is terrifying when he gets going. So the fact that he was in prison says a lot. It is not a good thing.
It's funny because meeting Wei for Dr. J was also a very interesting moment, because I was just sort of chilling, and all of a sudden, this guy just comes in and goes, "Oh, goodbye," and snaps this other guy's neck, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot you work here."
Yeah.
I start running his pockets. Oh, don't worry, I'm just security.
I'm just the local hustle. That's all I am. It's fine. Yeah. No, that was a good moment too.
See, that was a beginning player learning curve. That was a really impactful moment for me, because I rolled. I still kind of feel bad saying it about it, because it was still kind of a fun character to play, and it was a fun dynamic to try and work around being a low health net runner. But I completely screwed up my first character, and it was almost unbearable to play as the game started to progress. I was like, oh, I see the holes in this build. This dude's either going to die, or I'm going to suffer and be useless for like the next 3 or 4 sessions. And that's where the plot to like linear frame, Borg him out, that would pad the health pool, that would do all that. So there was like an actual line of play there. And then to just snap into the Wei is by far my favorite character to play. I've done a few side characters that I love for like one shots and stuff, but Wei is the original one shot god. I played him the one time and I was like, this is my new main character.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of cool too. It's cool to have Connor in the team now, because Connor was the GM for that one shot. So it was neat. So it was Connor GM'd, and then it was me, Ghost, and then I think it was Connor's brother, Evan, who was my original GM. He's the one who taught me the game. And then like Wei came out, and Wei was terrifying. And like Wei was as bare bones as he could be at that point too. That wasn't even like near full build Wei. That was like rank 4 solo with starting eddies Wei, and he was so fucking scary.
That's where the term flash step was born with Wei, because I realized I had enough range, and there were a lot of situations. I think it was when we stepped out of the little tube thing that we were investigating something at. I think you needed to interrogate, or there was some VIP there that you needed.
There was a train. So it was a train, and there was a guy inside that we pulled out, and we're like, tell us where the shit is. And so I was inside trying to pull the stuff out of the net when I think it was Militech rolled up. And you just went to town on fucking Militech while I was net running. I was like, okay, that's your shit. I'm not going to fuck with that. Like,
I didn't realize they'd be so soft. I was like super low on initiative.
They were wearing I think medium or heavy armor, Jack. Like they were wearing heavy armor, and you were whipping through them like butter.
I'd walk up to them, ding ding, and they'd fall over, and I go, oh, I guess I go to the next one. Some of them would have already gotten shot, so I'd dink him once and go over to the next guy.
It was scary. It was like, holy shit. And even Connor was like, wait, how is he doing this? Like he was floored. He was like, these guys are supposed to be actually intimidating. They're falling like flies. I'm like, yeah, it's martial arts solo, man. There's a reason people say this is the quote unquote meta. But they're terrifying. They're actually scary as hell. I need to look at, so now that we've got the question of the Neon Inferno moments out of the way, as we've kind of played together, because this is kind of interesting too, having you two being the ones here at the after show for this, because in reality, I think you two are kind of polar opposites in terms of how much prior experience you had with Cyberpunk. Because Cody's been in every single one of my campaigns that I've ever run, whether it's been Neon Inferno or something before it that I ran just privately for my friends. Whereas Ghost, you started playing not just Cyberpunk but RPGs, period, with us here at Neon Inferno. Like your first session was the kind of the session 0 we did for this. And like
Yeah, not like the session 0. We did the like pre-session 0 where you, I think it was just you wanted to see how 2 netrunners would kind of work. So we did the laptop in the one car thing. I remember that because
yeah,
I'll never forget that. We just banished that shit to the void. That was amazing. But yeah, Neon Inferno was my first hands-on experience with any form of tabletop RPG. I've seen some content and I'd seen some stuff around, and I had a real hunger to want to play D&D, but I never really had a group to play with. So I just kind of put that out there into the void in one of your Elite Dangerous streams, and then joined your Discord, and then a few months later you hit me up like, hey, so I've got a project in the works, and you said that you wanted to play tabletops. I know you said you wanted to play D&D, but what do you think about Cyberpunk? And I was like, well, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And yeah, it was crazy too, because I'm like, oh, well, like, this is another streamer. So, like, at the very least, like, he'll know kind of the landscape we're doing this in. So, like, even if you're inexperienced with the game itself, doing it live is less of a shock than, like, some of the people, for example, who attended the boot camp who are like, I've never played, because some of them were like you. They'd never played an RPG before in their life. And they were, like, brand new to all of it. And I was, like, so happy when I heard that, because I'm like, oh, this is so cool, because now I get to be the person who shows you what this world is like, and not just in the context of Cyberpunk, but just like, this is what RPGs are, right? Like, this is what TTRPGs are. And that's so cool that those people came. Like, so any of you who may be watching this, because I think I will put this whole segment up on YouTube, because this feels kind of like a podcast to me, so I think this earns its own place. Any of you who are watching this later on, or if any of you happen to be in chat tonight with us here on Twitch, if any of you came to the boot camp and it was your very first time, whether just with Cyberpunk or with TTRPGs, period, just as like a general concept, thank you so much for trusting me to be like your first time GM. That is not a decision made lightly usually. And I so appreciate getting the opportunity to be that for all of you. So just know that is something I respect so greatly. And I am eternally grateful you chose me, because I truly do love teaching new players and being in that position. But I know that, there are other people you could have chosen for that. And so I greatly appreciate that you put that trust in me. But going back to kind of the thing I wanted to ask, because of your varied experience levels with Cyberpunk leading up to this, because Cody, you've gotten to see it from the Jumpstart kit all the way up through where we currently are. Whereas like Ghost, I think by the time you started playing with us, the only major supplement book that we hadn't gotten yet that affected kind of how characters were made was Black Chrome, because I think we got that like 6 or 7 episodes into Neon Inferno was when Black Chrome
Interface Red. I don't remember if that had been out for a minute or whatever, because I remember That was like a couple sessions in. I remember getting mentioned that because I hadn't been looking at like any of those cyber decks. So I don't know if that
Right.
came out like super early into it or it was like a couple sessions and you're like, oh yeah, here, if you want to look at cyber decks.
Yeah, well, Interface Red didn't have that in it actually. That was just Midnight with the Upload. That actually isn't.
Oh, Midnight with the Upload. There we go.
Yeah. But that's DLC. I mean, like the major books. Because the only book that is truly come out that affected the player side since we started Neon Inferno was Black Chrome. But then yeah, there have been all kinds of DLC that have come out both before and after. So I'm curious, and I don't expect that either one of you have read through all the DLC like I have, because I'm a GM, so I kind of have to, because some of it is just from my eyes. But two, you know, you guys obviously have different values in terms of like what you value out of a DLC. So I'm kind of curious, when it comes to the DLC and books, the supplements and stuff that have come out. Let's start with, what is your favorite DLC article? So not the books, like not Black Chrome, not Danger Girl Dossier or Tales of the Red or any of that. Even though I know you guys probably haven't read, you know, any of the GM focused ones there, so you pretty much just have Black Chrome. But from like the free DLC articles that we interact with, some of which pretty regularly on the show, what is your favorite DLC?
Do you really need to ask that question to me?
I mean, I'd like the answer for posterity all the same.
The answer is Elflines Online, and I would love to go back to that eventually.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I still have my character for that in my hotbar because I always drag my character tokens down there. My one on the far right is still my Elflines character.
I mean, we can always go back there. We can always do more Elflines. I actually got a chance when because Connor was living here for a little bit. He moved out like I want to say like 2 weeks ago now, I think. We tried the TCG. We actually played the ELO TCG.
Oh my!
You finally got to play it. Hell yeah!
I got to try it out, and I can say that is probably one of the most fun TCGs I've ever played. Like no joke, it was actually legitimately a lot of fun. The rule system for it is a lot of fun. The only issue is because it's played with playing cards, unless Artal does something where they like add a supplement set that you can print on your own and like expand it with like new spells or something, there can be no true expansion of the game. But for all of you at Artal who might watch this later, James Hutt, you in particular, because you're the ELO brainchild, give us more ELO TCG somehow, or just more ELO content. I want more. You named ELO expansion 1 with a number, so I can only fathom that means you have a number 2 in mind at some point in the future. Know that me and mine are looking forward to you releasing that. So just want to point that out there.
Just to double down on what you just said, Chat is going nuts with yes please and give. Yeah, so
yeah,
you know,
LCC, did you use my tabletop simulator? No, I didn't know you made one, LCC. Oh, hold up, we have a tabletop sim mod for the ELO TCG. Oh, we might have to do that one of these nights, guys.
I've got simulator too, so
I'm sorry, LCC. LCC, yeah, you can send links in my chat.
Discord.
Yeah, you can put it in Discord, put it in general, or DM it to me. Cause yeah, I want to highlight that. I will happily highlight that. Epic cards are, I get to open, hold up boys. I've got a box of ELO TCG cards right here. I've got packs. They're packs. I've even got my little box topper in there. Look at that. It's so good. It's got its little salt, like little salt sleeve and everything. Like, I am ready to open this box tomorrow. that I get in Diamond's game. Oh my god, 8-Bit gets to get his ELO cards, and I get to see what loot cards I get. Let's fucking go. Oh, I'm excited. Thank you, LCC. I will highlight the shit out of that. Because yeah, that is awesome. I could not be more excited that exists, actually. Because I've seen, I don't know if it was you or someone else on Reddit, because I don't remember the author of the post, but I remember about the time that DLC dropped, someone dropped artwork for every single card in the game. Like, as like a printable thing that you could slip into a sleeve with a playing card. And I was like, that's awesome. Because then, like, if they just do something like that, you could expand the ELO TCG, in theory. Which, again, James Hutt, we want more. We want more. Please give more. But yeah, okay. So Cody, you like ELO, and that is its own subsection of the DLC. But I agree that it's hard to pick one over the other. Those of you here on Twitch, you are going to be getting an ad in a short bit here, which is why I want to post this up on YouTube later. All the same. So just FYI, guys, you will be getting an ad in a moment. I cannot snooze it anymore. I've done my best. So now that we've talked ELO for Cody, Ghost, what has been your kind of favorite DLC to interact with?
So I feel like it's obligatory just because of the impact that it has. It is actually the peak DLC that they would have to do something insane to top it, is Night City Tarot.
That is fair. That is fair.
That is one of the most impactful. I feel like that's like my obligatory number one because I feel like that has the most like impact on every day in the game. Like when you roll with tarot, it's always going to be one of those oh shit tarot moments, and it's amazing. But personal favorite, and it's completely underrated and slept on. Somebody do something with the Cyberchair DLC that's cool.
Oh, that's an interesting choice. Yeah, no. I mean, I think Cyberchairs, I agree. Cyberchairs is slept on. Because you could do a lot of cool stuff since that's all tech. Techs could upgrade the shit out of Cyberchairs and make them really, really cool. I agree. Like, even if you're not playing a character that needs one for like medical purposes, to replace legs or something, like, that's very fucking cool. I would love to see something expanded there.
Just play Marvel's MODOK as a netrunner.
Let's see. LCC says that was someone else. I just used a lot of Gwent art, plus some random other images. No, I mean, hey, it works. Nothing wrong with that. Cyberchairs spinning wheels are super slept on. Yep, I agree.
We went hype for spinning your wheels. I remember we had plus to get bikes. That's where like Maya's idea, ooh, I have to get skates. That's where Way first picked up the idea, ooh, I need a skateboard. Like is when we all discovered that DLC.
Yeah, no, and it, I mean, it is a cool DLC. It really is a cool DLC. And yeah, I think that a lot of the people complain, but whoa, cars are so expensive in the game. That did change about a month ago when we got the 12 Days of Gear Miss. We have now 1,000 Eddie car that you can get, and it's a piece of shit, but it is a car. But the fact that, yeah, people slept so hard on, like, spinning your wheels, I really feel like that is something that's greatly underrated. Greatly underrated.
I would love, like, a whole skater crew Dogtown story of skaters in a combat zone.
I mean,
that DLC cool. Allows that to exist with proper, like, you have to roll for your tricks, learning to, like, skate better and doing shit, fighting for turf to skate in. Like, that storyline could exist.
It could.
With rules as written. And I love that.
And yo gangers are a thing in Night City, too. Let's not forget that, like, you know, you have kids on the street who are either orphaned or their parents just don't care enough to keep an eye on them. They're, like, practically latchkey kids. And those yo gangers probably would do stuff like that. Like that is entirely within the realm of possibility. Speaking of which, I'm trying to get a compendium for 12 Days of Gear Miss into Foundry system. Hopefully it will be included for next release. Oh, LCC, I love people like you that do the hard work because I don't know shit about how to do any of that. And I love the work you guys do because it helps so much. So no, that's awesome. I'm very excited to see the compendium make it to the full release. I also keep hoping and praying that we'll get full implemented vehicles, so I don't have to keep doing the tile thing where I draw a tile, move the party, and repeat that process and then track the vehicle's health on the side. I want it to be a targetable object. So I don't know how much you talk with the other people in that community, but that release will change everything and make things so much nicer once that is fully implemented. I will love everyone on the team that makes that happen forever, because that is the single most annoying thing. That and like the way black ice are implemented, as like you have to tie them to actors or something. I just wish the black ice could be their own actors and just interact with tokens like any other entity. If you guys could implement that, I would love it. It'd be so fucking good. That and vehicles. And then we have like literally a perfect system. It literally becomes a perfect system. But yeah, thank you for all you do. Like, this is not me trying to beg for more, like looking a gift horse in the mouth. Simply saying, these are my wants. But I am happy for everything we get. Because the Foundry system being run by fans is honestly like, it's so impressive when you realize like none of that is directly supported by RTG. It is all done by the fans. And they are like skirting around all of RTG's like homebrew content policy in the same way I have to. So good on you guys. Like, you guys do some great work. But yeah. So then, with the DLC out of the way, let me ask this. When we talk about gear, there's a lot of gear in the game. There's a lot of weapons, all of that. I'm curious for each category other than vehicles, because they're kind of their own nebulous pit that we don't interact nearly as much with. What is your favorite kind of piece of equipment from weapons, gear, and cyberware? What, for each of you, what would you say is your favorite one for each of those? And it could be from anything. Black Chrome, the DLCs, anything.
So weapons, gear, and cyberware.
Yep.
Weapons, very fucking easy for me. My gun, it's on Dr. J right now. The Eagle Tech Survivalist is probably my favorite thing that I've ever used.
Yep, that thing is very, very cool.
Because my original character, I decided to be an edgelord and use a bow. And then I figured out this existed, and I was just like, this is perfect, because now I can shoot a freaking AR round using archery.
Yep. Yeah, that's the craziest thing, is that it uses archery to fire AR rounds. That is insane. But it's a very cool gun. I do like the design on that one.
And you can call me basic, you can call me whatever the hell you want. I have two things tied for cyberware. One because of emotional trauma, and one because it's the first time I've ever actually put a major piece of cyberware in a character. I'll go with that one first. The Sandy, my son Devastan on Dr. J, improves my initiative so much to the point where I don't end up at the bottom anymore. I used to end up at the bottom all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And now I'm just
Sandy
like,
helps a lot.
And then as far as the emotional trauma goes, it's going to be the, well, I guess it's sort of three things. It's low light IR UV vision, and then, of course, the wonderful nasal filters I've had on every character since
the
original.
The nanite swarms I sent after you in the JSK campaign all those years ago. Shit.
Nasal filters in these parties are about as essential to a starter character build as a goddamn carry-all. I swear to God.
Everyone gets traumatized to the point that they have either a smog mask or nasal filters. It is so funny to watch every time.
Like I said, I've said this before, but like every campaign, there's always another item I feel is very necessary.
Yep. at least I keep the trauma fresh. That's all
Yep.
I'm saying.
So, yeah, it's nasal filters, low light IR, and an umbrella.
Hell yeah. And an umbrella. The Militech one, I assume, the Militech tactical umbrella.
Any of them at this point, and you see blood rain, you're like, well, guess I'm screwed.
Yeah, but that's biotoxin falling from the sky. Thump. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. All you can
I
do.
still remember playing Ghost with my like 30 HP. I was like, oh no, if I take this damage, I may actually melt before we get to the gig. Somebody do something.
Yeah, that's true. And so, Ghost, for you, what's your favorite gears, cyberware, and weapon?
So I want to start with weapon because I feel like it's not really controversial, but it's technically not a purchased weapon. Martial arts in general, because and I wish we had more martial arts, but it is such a fine tone system. I love that you can really personalize, because like with the Taekwondo kit that I always use, it gives me that stunning strike. It gives me knockdowns. It gives me like reward for my mobility, and like lets me take initiative and control a situation so that everybody else can do what their roles do effectively. Because you'll see it a lot of times where like if I don't effectively pull aggro and something runs past me, it's just like in an MMO. If your tank doesn't pull aggro, your backline's going to have a bad time when the thing gets there.
It's true. Very true.
In just today's fight, that stunning strike, all that he could do was move, so it's realistic for him. He wants to move away because he can't take advantage of the fact that he ran right up into the pocket.
Yeah.
Like, those sorts of situations, martial arts, depending on how you build it, it's so versatile and can do so much and lay so much damage. And it partners with my favorite cyberware being the linear frame, because it enables a martial artist to upscale to the late game power. Because even a starting character, even though it's a one rate of fire, a very heavy pistol, 4d6, but catches by armor. You get a linear frame implanted, you're now set to 12, you punch for 4d6, twice half ablated. That's amazing. And it may start out a little bit weaker, but once you hit that end game scaling, it hangs in there with almost anything you could throw it at.
Because I actually don't think it starts weaker at all. Because if you're dealing at least 3d6 damage, you're on par with a heavy melee weapon, and that heavy melee weapon can't be taken from you. Unless you literally get your arms chopped off. Like, that is about the only way that you lose those weapons, which is insane.
Yeah, mainly the way that it's weaker in the early game is you're forced to contend evasion. And especially in the early game, like, at worst, you're probably matching a, like, 14 to 16 where you're at, like, a -2 disadvantage. And, like, those, we've seen it before, a 2 disadvantage, and being forced to go up against that anytime that you want to deal damage, before you spec points into it, it can feel really debilitating. Like, there were a lot of times where I would go up and we know how much damage I can put out, so I'm like flexing, feeling all hot, but you've now upscaled the troops to be able to fight these fights. I start missing every fucking hit, and my damage now means nothing because they will always have the opportunity to dodge. Even if somebody did something to like lower their reflex, they don't need reflex 8. It's like they're chilling.
Yep, that's true. Okay, so that was as far as the cyberware. It's the embedded linear frame. Your weapon would be martial arts as a martial artist. What's your favorite bit of gear then?
Ooh, gear is actually a tough one, because I would have to lean into my tech side and the portapreneur. I think the accessibility that gives techs for longer and bigger projects and more repetitive projects, I feel like the weight that it holds is insane value.
Yep, I quite like that one. That's good gear. I realize we gotten this deep, so I'm gonna read chat's answers to this question, but I just realized I haven't given any of my answers, so I'll give those in just a moment here. So for Diamond, her favorite, so LCC, I know you gave a weapon. LCC, if you could give me cyberware and general gear as well, because I don't believe I saw any of that from you. But for Diamond, Kerberos cyber deck for gear, probably I would imagine. Micro Cutie, which would be like a gun. We've got Jesus. We've got the Super Flash Jacket, which could go as gear, could go as armor. One of the two. I'm trying to think of them. Lamau, so many to pick from. I mean, that's true. And no problem, LCC. And then finally, Diamond nasal filters for her actual cyberware. Yeah. I mean, that is fair all around. Fair all around. The Kerberos cyber deck is a very interesting one. That is a fascinating choice. I need to experiment. I need theory craft a little more with the expanded cyber deck choices, because I'm of the philosophy personally that once you get an excellent quality plain cyber deck, that is hands down the best cyber deck in the game. Like, there is almost no reason, in my opinion, to take any of the specialty cyber decks over an excellent quality 9-slot cyber deck. Especially if you can get a tech upgraded. Like, there's almost no reason at all. But that is just my opinion. And I feel like I haven't done enough theory crafting to, like, concretely defend that point. So I do admit that there could very well be some broken combos there, because I also don't typically net run with Black Ice on my deck. And I know a lot of those upgraded decks tend to play Black Ice as like a main feature. So there is that. So to start at the top of my questions, for my answers. So for Neon Inferno, my favorite moment, I will have to say, I think my favorite moment, and this is gonna probably, Maya, if you watch this later, know that this is nothing against you, because truly this is nothing against you at all. I think one of my favorite moments in Neon Inferno that I still talk about all the time is Estrogen Light Rail's death, because it happened so early on and it set the tone for the rest of the campaign, that like bad things could happen to good people very easily while they were doing all the right things and doing the best with a bad situation. And the fact that that was led up to by like fighting a rogue AI, like it was all of your life paths kind of in a blender for that episode. And it ended with Maya's character dying. And like the fact that she did a whole write-up about it afterwards, like it really affected her. And the rest of the party took it to heart, like that was not gonna happen lightly to anyone else. And I think it, by the way it happened, I know Cody, when you later on were playing Hyde and you guys kind of saw the way the chips were falling at the Militech Tower and you slid your rifle over to Erica, and I knew what that kind of meant for your character, that they were probably not getting out of it alive. That was incredible. That whole arc, that first arc of Neon Inferno was incredible, and I think that it kind of starts with the death of Estrogen Light Rail and like what that means. So that's my favorite moment. As far as my favorite, because let me think, because I asked you guys favorite moment, then it was favorite DLC, I believe, right? If I'm remembering my own questions correctly, because I didn't write this down.
Favorite supplement, like
favorite supplement. Okay, so my favorite supplement that we've gotten, probably, that's a hard one for me because there's a lot of really good supplements. So I'm going to split this up. I'm going to split the question for me because I have the unique position of being a GM. So for me, I've got kind of a two-way kind of favorite for this. So my favorite GM side supplement, if I have to be honest, because this thing has paid fucking dividends for me. as far as, and I don't mean that literally, but it is literally just a, whenever I go out and I talk about Cyberpunk to people, one of the first supplements I will recommend, even though it's not listed on their DLC page, I recommend easy mode. Easy mode is straight up for any of you watching this. If you do not play Cyberpunk yet, you want to play Cyberpunk, you want to get people into Cyberpunk, you want to play with your own group, and none of you have the books, none of you have the time to learn, get easy mode. It is free on DriveThruRPG on YouTube. I will post the link to that in the video below. For those of you here in live stream, I will get the link and post it. So bear with me just a brief moment and I'll grab it. Cyberpunk Red easy mode, though, is straight up one of the best things that this game has. It's a great onboarding experience for new players. That is a link that'll take you straight to it if you are here in chat. And I will post that same link for those of you on YouTube later. So that said, that is my favorite GM product because it makes introducing new players to the game. It's funny. So this last weekend, I was at a funeral. And it was a bunch of my wife's family that were there in attendance for it. And we were talking about what I do for work, and this is what I do for work. So surprise, surprise, this is my profession. To talk about Cyberpunk Red on the internet a bunch. And I started talking with them, and a few of them were like, well, we play a ton of RPGs. Like they play like some World of Darkness stuff. They play D&D. They play Pathfinder. And I'm like, well, have either of you played Cyberpunk? And they'd messed around on the app with it, but they never actually played. And I'm like, well, if you guys want, like, come to the hotel we're staying at, and I will literally run a game. I had like 3 people who all wanted to learn. So I literally print out easy mode at the hotel's business center, hand each of them their characters, and we played easy mode for like 3 hours. And now they played Cyberpunk. And this happened as a pickup thing. Like, I did not have plans to do this, but I had just enough dice to run it. I had just enough pencils in my backpack for writing stuff. So I had backups in case one broke. And it worked great. It was really fun. So yeah, so enough about easy mode. I've talked that up and down, and I feel like I've explained that pretty well. From the player side, I think my favorite DLC would probably be it'd probably have to be the bioexotics. Even though that's an Interface Red exclusive one, I'm gonna use that because I think the bioexotics one is just such a cool DLC, and it adds so much flavor to the game and to characters that you would make, and like it lets you do some really unique stuff. I know I've used it for NPCs in Neon Inferno before. Who could forget the lovable Big Chungus with his dolphin head? Chungus was a wonderful bodyguard for Rex in season 1. So I bioexotics is a fun DLC. It adds a lot of fun stuff to the game. And then to answer my favorite weapon, cyberware, and gear. For the weapon, I think the one I constantly keep coming back to and being impressed by is the Mono Wakizashi. I fucking love that thing. It's so accessible for new players. It just does a lot. It's very heavy-handed in terms of just dealing tons of damage. It is one of the single best melee weapons, in my opinion, in the whole game. Cost for damage, it is probably one of the best melee weapons in the entire game. For cyberware is a little trickier. Gear, okay, so LCC gave his answers here real quick. So for gear, it's Ion Cuffs, cyberware, Chiron. Chiron's fun. Chiron's really, really fun. I do like that choice. Probably my favorite cyberware, after playing a ton with it, I kind of agree with Cody that it's probably Sandevistan. Because I play that on my medtech all the time, and Sandevistan is just so fucking good. It's so effective. And then as far as general gear goes, that's another really hard one. But you know what? No, I've got my answer, and it's going to be unorthodox because the book doesn't really classify it as general gear, but it functions like it. Trauma team coverage. I would probably give Trauma Team Silver as like one of my favorite pieces of general gear that I don't see players use enough, and it's really fucking cool to see that used. So yeah, I would say that that'd be my gear option. So, so then, as far as, let's see, it's so slept on. You can do so much interesting covert stuff with it. Everyone gets internal agents. You can all text each other without having to let on you're reading anything. It's true. Yeah, with Chiron and an internal agent, I love Chiron and internal agents. I think that that is a combo I use on a lot of characters. Like that is a good combo though. I completely agree. The only reason I'll say like Kerenzikov or Sandevistan over it is that initiative fucking always good. It's always so good. Speedwear is insane. So then, as a sort of, I guess, final question to circle back into Neon Inferno, who has been your guys' favorite, and chat again, feel free to answer this, who has been the favorite NPC for you guys in Neon Inferno? What is your favorite NPC that we have encountered so far in Neon Inferno's story?
Can I take this one first? Because I've got to jump off right off the top of my head. Yeah. The guy who, under Veritas, when all of his inhibitions were gone, stood up to Way and made him crack.
Ooh, Fridge. Yeah, no, Fridge is a good one.
Yeah. And that also at the time scene, wasn't he also like looking after a kid? So that was like the initial reason that like there was already going to be hesitation, and it was like a don't make me snap off this way, and then he challenged that because he couldn't help it. It was just, oh, that mental break in Way. That was what his character arc needed.
Yeah, it was fun for me as a GM to bring Fridge into it for exactly that reason, because I could predict what some of the reaction to that was going to be. But he himself didn't necessarily have kids, but he's like, I have people in my community that need me, and the kids are the first ones you saw. Like, you saw that through their eyes almost immediately. Like, did Uncle Fridge do something bad? And you immediately were like, shit, it's kids. Oh no, like, this is not good. If we flatline this guy, it's just going to be really bad. So that was really cool. It was fun to do that because it was at a time where you guys were like, we're just steamrolling everything. I'm like, cool. There are consequences. Some of these are people, like actual people with very important people relying on them.
We were in deep murder hobo phase. Like, that was full on murder hobo Way that walked into that place. And like, I still had the mind. He probably, like, if nobody else had said anything, he probably wouldn't have been alive when we left there. Like, he would have been flatlined. But because of how that played out, it was no longer really an option.
Yeah, it's very true. So Cody, who's been your favorite NPC so far in Neon Inferno?
So one's sort of a cop-out, and one is memorable for possibly some of the wrong reasons, but also the very right reasons. Royal, by far, is probably one of my favorites, just because he's such a fun character to work around as a fixer that he never really gets boring, because I've seen him in multiple instances. He's betrayed me once in the JSK.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. What a throwback that one.
It basically got turned into Crusher near the end there, and then we've got to work with him side by side here on Neon Inferno. But it kills me that I can't remember the guy's name because he's so memorable. Our wonderful musician doctor friend from season 1.
Fieldo, good old Fieldo.
Yeah. Oh, how can I forget about Fieldo? Oh my god.
Dude,
That was
yeah.
great.
Vildo's fantastic. Just his inside lore amongst the musician crowd versus the fact that he's actually a competent doctor is hilarious.
Dude, yeah, Fildo, and I admit fully that I stole Fildo from Cody. You know their real name, so I'm not gonna say it here. But yeah, suffice it to say, I stole it from one of my IRL friends, who also creates content online. So, but because they originally played Fildo as a D&D character, they played him as a peasant. And so he was looking for his son on this grand adventure using the same voice inflections I use for him in Cyberpunk. And I'm like, I've got to use him. Like, this is just it's such a good character. Oh, that's a good choice. No, I like Fildo.
It's just, especially when we got to go to the club where I think it was Fridge that was there, and he was just playing, and you're just like, hey guys, welcome in.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
Let me play you the song of my people. And it was trash. It was so bad.
Yeah, there was like the running meme that every time that I went to like therapy with him, he was just like loading my brain full of BDs of his music and shit.
Yeah.
Like the brainwashing way to love his shit.
Yeah. You got to do it. You know, that's the competition's stiff in Night City, man. You know? It was so fun.
I mean, the man called my San Devastan. I can't give him shit.
That's very true. No. Yeah. God, now I have to answer that question. Like, who my favorite one's been, and obviously, like, I'm viewing it through a little different lens because I play all of those characters. Who's been my favorite NPC to like play? Hold up, I'm gonna look at my actors tab in the server here real quick because I need to like review everyone I've run.
While you're thinking about that, can I pull an honorable mention that was from a side one shot that I believe was still streamed?
Yeah, go ahead.
But it was the one where I ran my fixer and I got to bully that stupid gate guard. That is probably one of my favorite NPCs.
Yeah, that was during the Vended Heist.
Character.
That was during the Vended Heist stream, yeah. Any of you on YouTube who haven't seen that one yet, it's in my How to GM series. It's episode 3 of that. 1 and 2 show us writing that gig and going over like the principles too. So if you want to know how to write gigs, that's a good one to look at. But yeah, no, that was cool. Because that was Golden, right? That you were playing Golden during that?
No, that was the Friar.
Friar, that's the one you're playing. Because Golden's the one you played in some of my paid gigs, I think, right?
I may have. I don't think I had a fixer. I played a Nomad. It might have been somebody else because I know my one fixer was Friar. I've had Medtech Lazarus that hasn't rolled back around. Hopefully you guys will get to see him on stream. I love that character too.
Laz is cool, yeah. And yeah, Golden might have been someone else because I've used him as a fixer in like some of my like start playing gigs, which are pretty fun. But yeah, no, that's a fair honorable mention. That gate guard was bullied as fuck.
Yeah, he wasn't a recurring character, but his 5 minutes of fame were glorious.
So it's a very tiny honorable mention on my part because it's a fuck up on my part, which is the funniest thing ever. So when I created Dr. J on the Red Companion app, it auto-generated enemies for me. And I had fully intended on going back and editing these people and actually making them intertwined with the story. Mm-hmm. Lo and behold, near the tail end of season 1, I can't remember his name now because he's deleted off my character sheet from the app, but you inserted one of my enemies into that boardroom about the nuke talk, and as soon as I fucking heard his name, I go, shit, this is the motherfucker I meant to delete.
Yeah, no, let me see. I probably have him in the server here.
And he ended up being pivotal because he was a pain in the fucking ass.
Yeah, it was Billy Brunswick, dude.
Yep.
That's the guy, yeah, because he's still on your sheet in Foundry. So okay.
That is a fucking auto-generated name for an NPC.
It was a good name. Like, to be fair, that was like, if you had a sinister fucking corpo name, like, that is in the contention for a Sinister Corpo name. Like, yeah, of course, some dude by the name of Brunswick is gonna fuck you up at the end of the day. But yeah, no, that's a good honorable mention. That's funny though that you're like, I was gonna edit that. Fuck, that's so good. Okay, so after looking through all of the characters that I've role played, honestly, okay. So I'm gonna give kind of like what you did, Cody. I'm gonna give my favorite overall because he's been a recurring character in a lot of my campaigns, and this is true whether I was a player or a GM. Rex Royale is always gonna have a warm spot in my heart. I love that fixer, and it's so interesting to me because the vibe I got on him, and like most of my friends who are GMs got on him when we all first read he was part of like the Jumpstart Kit and the apartment adventure in there, was that he was like very serious. Like he was a very serious man who probably was like a very high-end fixer in the city. And like, don't get me wrong, he is. Even in like when we've gotten him more defined, like with a stat block and everything, he's a very well-defined fixer in the city. The fact that he uses this whole casino motif though, coming Black Chrome, I did not like that as much. I view him as very like a shrewd kind of businessman type, very like silver hair mafioso almost. And like that he's someone to be contended with, you know, kind of like Rogue Armendariz is in 2077. I view Rex in the same league as her in the Time of the Red. So like he's always been in my campaigns. Like even if I was GM, if I was a player, he always makes an appearance. Without fail, Rex always makes an appearance. I love Rex. I feel like that's a front, like the casino thing is a front for Rex. It could be. I think, I just feel like the way that Black Chrome casts him makes it feel too heavy-handed. That's my only criticism of it. It feels too heavy-handed, and the way he was introduced to me, and some of this is my own bias, and I fully acknowledge and recognize that. But the way he was introduced to me when I first started playing Cyberpunk, like this is before I ever ran a game of it in my life. Rex owned a club called Club Synapse, which is why I brought it into you guys in Neon Inferno Season 1, because that is such an integral part of Night City for me, despite the fact that it's entirely canonized by my group of friends and stuff. Synapse is always in Night City. It is just as important to me as Club Atlantis, as the Afterlife, as now like the Inferno is. Like Club Synapse is integral to the landscape of the city. Or the Forlorn Hope, that's like another bar that is like very important to the structure of the city. Synapse is just as important. And the way that like Rex runs that is like, you know, he's like almost like Mr. Hands. Those of you who played through Phantom Liberty in 2077 and you meet Mr. Hands for the first time, that is how I envisioned Rex from day one of playing Red. Is what modern Mr. Hands is like. This suave older man, business type, very like eloquent, like got a very good handle on like the pulse of the city. Like that is Rex to me. Will always be what Rex is to me. Even though Mr. Kernighan is like more the way that I think they cast him more in that role. I feel like Kernighan is like the overseer of Night City. Like if the John Wick universe existed, he'd be the guy to like kind of oversee the Continental there. Rex is like his close second in the city in that regard. So that's my favorite continuing character that I've used forever, right? Favorite new character though for Neon Inferno specifically, that one gets really hard. There have been a couple really good ones for Neon Inferno. But, you know, I think if I had to pick one, goddamn, like for me, it's like right now it's kind of a tie between Paradox, but I don't think you guys know quite why I like Paradox so much yet. So I'm gonna kind of keep that closer to the chest because obviously I've written ahead a little bit for season 2. But I really like Paradox. Paradox is probably my favorite character for season 2 that I've written so far. Season 1 though is probably Yuria. I think Yuria is like my favorite NPC that I've run in season 1, just because of how important she was, not just away, but like the party as a whole viewed her with like a lens of importance, either because she was a threat or because she was so important away in like the narrative near the end. So yeah, Yuria is definitely one of those characters that I will remember. Yuria, like going forward, she's one of those characters I will remember. I may use her again even. Like she's very important to me. You know, Mr. K is the boogeyman if he wants. Absolutely. The fact, so Diamond actually brought Mr. K into one of the gigs that she ran for a group I'm part of with her. And that man terrified the shit out of me. Like, K is terrifying. If you're in his line of fire, he is a horrifying presence. He will make you piss yourself. It is actually terrifying what that man wields. But yeah, Chad, I'm curious, who is your favorite NPC that you've seen in Neon Inferno? And feel free to cop out and pick ties if you want to. We've all done it, so you have permission to.
Another honorable mention.
Sure.
I can't remember her name. The nomad lady who ran the place where like Wei got blinded and like pasted. I can't remember her name.
You mean Molly?
Molly, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Molly was sick. There were a few times where she was like in combat and actually throwing hands, and it was like, oh shit.
Yeah, Molly's a cool character too. I know I had a couple of people like happy to see Molly be such a benevolent force. I may have used her as an enemy in one of the boot camp games I ran. And I caught some flack from some of those same people when I told them about the fact that Molly was an enemy and not a force for good. So yeah, that was kind of fun. Oh my goodness, Diamond! I didn't know that you were still live and just hanging out in my chat all the same. Thank you so much for the raid. Hi, Raiders. If Diamond's been watching my stream and hosting me indirectly through her own, I really appreciate that, Diamond. Thank you. Thank you, Culture Nerd. I appreciate it. Wait, Tito, you know I don't need to say it. Wait. No, Tito, I think I do need you to say it because there's a couple of people that it could be, but I appreciate it. But yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you, Hollyeppa. Thank you. Or yeah, I think that's how you pronounce your name. If I have butchered your name, I apologize. I am not great with names. Oh, yeah, about Molly. Yeah, Tito, that's right. You were part of that game. Yeah. No, Tito was one of the people to get betrayed by Molly. His medtech got flatlined by her. It was not good. He was a victim of Molly's in that game.
Yeah, Molly's got hands, dude.
Yeah, shuriken grenades tear through starter characters pretty quick. That's what we learned in that session.
Oh no.
Rank 4 newbies get torn apart by Molly. We learned.
So, you know, I have the massive respect for Molly
okay.
because I think it was the church fight when she just started running up and just actually punching people.
Yeah. Try to give her ideas, didn't go well. Yes, we learned. Yeah, I know, Tito. You did learn. It was a painful lesson, but you learned. Mind if you pop in? Oh boy, Diamond's gonna join us in the VC. Oh baby.
So
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna bounce. I have to get up early.
Yeah.
But I want to wrap up by saying, hey, I know we're not even that far into season 2 here, but thanks for everything, dude. You make at least one night a week for me something to look forward to, and in this world that's something. So I appreciate you. But all of you folks in chat, YouTube, whatever, thanks for sticking with us, and we have a lot more of an adventure to have here. Come on back, come see us live, and I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, we will. Our regularly scheduled Neon Inferno, where we continue the actual story of season 2, is next Monday. So we will be back on Monday with the normally scheduled programming. But yeah, feel better, Cody. I know you came in saying you weren't feeling great today, so definitely feel better and sleep well.
Yep. Good night, folks.
Yep.
Have a good night, man. Hope you had some fun and got distracted.
Yeah. All right. So Diamond, hello, welcome.
Good morning. I also wanted to say thank you because Neon Inferno is what's been getting me through like the last day of the work week because I work Monday nights normally.
I'm glad.
So yeah,
well, it's actually funny. I got comments on that early on. Like I think we were at like episodes like 5 or 6, and someone else commented on that in YouTube way back when I was like, and it was funny because I still had my day job at the time, and I was like, all right, like that's cool. I'm glad I'm providing that for someone else because like that I know what that is like to need I need something to help me get through the workday. But yeah. Oh yeah, have a good one, Hoy. But new chatters though. We've had a couple questions I've asked my group. If and I know Diamond, you've been answering in chat. So like these are not new questions for you, but although there is probably, unless I missed one.
What's up?
Gig writing. Hello, Molly. Yeah. What's been your favorite NPC of what you've seen in Neon Inferno so far? I know you're only partway through.
Gosh. Like I don't know if they were like in the series primarily, but with me being involved with the gig for After the Inferno, Sunshine's kind of an interesting personality that we've met, but also your radio narrator surprisingly is a nice little touch that just adds that extra sight into the world. That's been very nice.
Yeah. No, I've had fun reusing that character over and over too. It's a lot of fun.
And also the way you have Royale though, it's just like fantastic.
Yeah, no, Rex Royale, like if you ever see Phantom in chat, I don't know if he's part of the current. I know he works at a school in the mornings too, so like he has to wake up much earlier than most people in my chat. So with that said, when he introduced me to Rex, I'm like, oh, this is a guy. That character is integral to my understanding of cyberpunk, so I can't not use him, but yeah, very much a fan of using him again and again. And yeah, we have used Sunshine a little bit. He hasn't made an appearance for a while, but that could always change because Sunshine is.
Was he the Session 1 guy that we rescued?
He
that
is.
Name seems super familiar.
Yeah, he's that guy. Yeah.
Wow, I actually remembered something all the way back from Red Chrome Cargo.
That was the modified version of Red Chrome Cargo I ran for our
Red Chrome Cargo. I mean, look, Red Chrome Legion had it right. I'm kidding.
Whoa. Let's not get that fashy here. It is the after show, but come on. But yeah,
Show us
no.
have a villain.
I guess this is a question to ask. And I'll be interested to hear. I'm gonna message Cody really quick because I've got him on DMs here. I'm just gonna say quick favorite gig from Neon Inferno.
Oh,
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's tough.
I mean, I showed up during the submarine heist and just see how the meta key sabotage went. Like, oh my god, that was crazy.
That was wild. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I guess my question for clarification would be gig on paper or gig how it turned out for the crew? Because on paper, I actually really like the I would probably point to the submarine gig because that was like a massive scale, but it's still like it just hit all the right notes for me without going too crazy.
Sure.
You almost had a huge fuck up, but you still managed to get through it before they got to you.
Yeah, and we peak one-shotted because we got a lucky
Mhm.
like tarot roll
Yeah.
on the torpedo. Like
That is my memorable moment is the tarot crit on the submarine. Like, oh my god.
That mattered to, oh my god. And everyone's saying the submarine mission. That is so crazy to me. Like, not that I don't think it deserves it. That is not what I'm saying. But it's so funny to me how, like, I don't know. Like, for me, that felt so off the cuff for me that I was like, it didn't leave as much an impact for me as some of the other gigs that I've personally, but I'm the guy writing them, so I'm gonna have a different perspective, obviously, than players and audience and all that. But that is incredible to me that was such a memorable gig for so many people.
As a fellow GM, to understand like that gig was on such a different scale than what I normally write, because you've seen what my gigs normally are. They're small, usually quick, point A, point B, or there's going to be a lot more intrigue to it. But like something as big as that, like I gotta. Actually, I think I have asked this, and I think maybe chat may also might be wondering. For those who have read Tales of the Red, was that inspired off of Drummer and the Whale?
It was. Some of the mechanics, at least in the sub, were inspired by Drummer and the Whale. The Rinky Dink sub that they sent them out in was absolutely inspired by Drummer and the Whale. Because the paradigm that you have to think through a gig like that through when you're playing it, because I came to that as a player, not as a GM when I first interacted with it, and I found myself so full of different kinds of anxiety as a player that I never felt in any other gig. And I was also on the brink of cyberpsychosis with my player character when I ran through that. So there's a very real chance I sparked all-out combat with the adversary force in that. And I'm not going to go in deep into it. I want people who play that to play with a fresh mind. But when the adversary force shows up, you'll know what they are. You'll know, what that is looking like. When they showed up, there was a 50-50 shot that I attacked and didn't stand down. And it could have led to my whole party getting wiped. And it would have been entirely in character for me to do that. So I was so, tuned into that. So I wanted to recreate some of the essential parts of that, I think, in Neon Inferno's context. Submarine mechanics are fun. That was definitely really, really fun. Then there was
also want to bring up before we move on to chats, because I do see there's two about their Continental gig. The other submarine that we ran when we had Kami Santa, I'm pretty sure I was still running. Was that back when I was still running Ghost? I think it was, because I remember trying to interact with the security system, and Way wouldn't have tried to do that. Yeah, that was one when I did the ear splitters with the radio communicator. Yeah, that was another really good gig.
Yeah, that was fun. It was fun to see player ingenuity in that gig. And that, for those of you wondering my inspiration on that gig, I will say that as well. That was loosely interpreted from Mike Pondsmith's Anne Boleyn gig that he ran for Team Monster, which is also on YouTube. So if you want to watch that,
yes,
that is a gig that I was introduced to as a player first. I actually didn't watch the gig before I played through it because my GM ran that for us, and we had so much fun. Our Connor was actually part of that. He was our fixer, but he had focused melee weapons. He rolled a 30 to cut a chain that was pulling us toward the ocean, and like saved us from slamming into the water and just dying. And he needed that 30. Like it wasn't like that was just he rolled really high and it was really cool. It was no, that was the needed roll and he made it. And we like were just blown away. Like it was incredible.
Yeah, it was like on par with my shoot the rope shot in the session 0.
Oh, exactly.
Like one of those moments.
It was exactly one of those moments. It was incredible. But yeah, that was loosely taken. Inspiration for that was loosely taken from the Amberlin mission, and kind of the baseline of the scenario was kind of inspired by that. But yeah, to go to chat real quick. So Culture Nerd says, so the Metakey episode was Nova. So yeah, we talked about that. Then there was the Continental Brands mission that was fun. 7 hours tough to sit through. Yeah, there's a reason why after that mission, we've never had one go that long again. Because I got that feedback across the board, not just from the audience, but from players. I've been much better about keeping it shorter and like really focusing hard on that. So yeah, that was heard loud, heard clear. I get it. So totally get that. Blowing up the church gig with the anti-cyborg gang. That wasn't
Inquisitors?
It was Inquisitors. Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking Reckoners for a second. I'm like, that's not the Reckoners. It's the Inquisitors.
What you doing working with Inquisitors?
Oh, they weren't working with the Inquisitors. They blew their church up.
Oh, okay.
They blew their fucking church up. That was the 7-hour episode. And Connor was actually part of that too with his Nomad, which was really fun.
Yeah, he brought his little chopper and sniper, and they set up on the roof. I remember that. He brought somebody else up there with him.
Yep.
Also, the way season 2 kicked off with also all the multi-level ambushes through the hot zone. Fantastic work painting the hot zone.
Yeah. No, that was a lot of fun to build that out, because I knew so with season 2 there's again like I have conceptualized and written a bit ahead, obviously, as one does when they're GM, and there are a lot of story beats that we have yet to come to that I'm genuinely really excited about. But one of the things that I really wanted to do with season 2 when we started it was attempt to start something en media res and like see how that impacted player decision making and stuff like that. And I feel from the GM side of the table, it was a very effective way to start things off, because it didn't leave a lot of like, space to like really interpret like, why are we here? Where are we meeting? Who's the fixer? We just have the fixer. Like, and it's funny because at the time I wrote what became the opener for season 2, I had never played or read easy mode. Like, I knew the concept of what easy mode was, but I never actually read or run it. And now having run it as part of the boot camp, and now run it again this weekend, that is such an effective way to start a gig. I was blown away by how good that starts things. Like, that was incredible. And the fact that I did that for season 2 without having that contextually to me was like, I had a moment where I'm like, I'm kind of proud of myself that I figured out how to do that the same way. It's really cool. Culture Nerd says season 2, within nuking the wall, making security corpse was fire. That was a mini Neo Inferno. Yeah, like when we went for Secura Corp. Yeah. No, like, it's going to be interesting. Because that's the last beat that we have now. Is like, you blew up Secura Corp. There was a nuclear reactor in the basement of that thing that went up. There obviously is going to be consequences for that. So it's going to be fun. Season 2 we're off to a good start, and I'm extremely excited for what's to come with season 2.
Yeah. Just before we move too far off the topic on
Yes.
the whole topic of like starting in media res, I'm pretty sure after the session, one of my first bits of feedback about it was like, I loved it because I have trouble overthinking a character when I'm first putting it to paper, and
Yeah.
the best characters, way as my prime example, are characters that I think of a general backstory for, and then you kind of let the narrative write itself. Like you
Yeah.
have their general personality traits in mind, and you know a little bit about their history, but a lot of like how they act and how they function,
Yeah.
it's a lot looser if you just kind of let that be free form and figure out how the character wants to play itself. And starting in media res, I didn't have to like find that baseline of the, well, you walk into the bar to meet the fixer and say hello to your new crew. Like I didn't have to worry about those formalities. It was, okay, we're in a situation. How
Yeah.
does this character react?
You're in the back of a van talking about the gig you're about to do, and that's where you are. And it's like, this is awesome. I loved from the GM side of the table, I loved the elegance of that. From the player's side, it was cool to watch you guys, just operate as a unit because you knew that was what you had to do. And the quirks and stuff took a back seat until the gig had started reaching its conclusion. And then we got to see kind of who the characters we were playing with were. And I really loved that as an intro beat for everyone. That and the fact that we got to meet even some, like, I didn't know it at the time, but like people that would end up being impactful on PCs. I think of Crash. Like Crash has become someone kind of important in this first arc of season 2. It's really interesting to see that character, I gave them a name on paper, not knowing if it was going to matter, but I knew it was going to matter enough in the moment that having a name was going to be something I should have ready. So seeing Crash develop into like a full fleshed out kind of character from my side of the table has been fun too, because she was developed in very much the same way, where she was not developed with much backstory in mind. I just knew what her motivation for being there at the moment was, and you guys helped me define why that's important. And it was really cool. I really liked that. More combat zone. Clamp. Let's see. Definitely
Clamp downs.
Oh, clamp downs. Definitely coming. NCPD aren't going to be happy since it happened in a green zone. Yeah. Yep. Probably not going to go great.
It's fine. I'm ready for the supervillain arc. Fuck them. Let them try. That's my stance.
We've got
My goodness.
we've got some things. I've got plans. This is the really nice thing about my wife not being part of the cast is I can bounce ideas off of her and ask her opinion on if it's too batshit. And when I told her the arc I've got coming up and how I'm gonna do it, she looked at me with glee in her eyes. And that is a terrifying prospect for anyone that isn't me, because my wife, when she's played Cyberpunk with me at my table before, always plays a murder hobo, nearly always plays a solo, and literally went through one of the gigs and betrayed her own fixer, had them decapitated just so she could save herself, and got 2 of the other crew members killed in the process, I might add. And again, no one held it against her because she played her character perfectly. But that is the kind of player she is. So if she's excited about what I've got coming up, you guys are going to be, you're in for it.
All right, I'm ready for war.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. I'm really excited for the next couple beats here.
So at first it's just going to be a scab.
Yeah, Crash, I thought at first was just going to be a scab that was going to get flatlined due to how the crew rolls usually is not with is not survivors most of the time. Yeah, they don't leave survivors. They don't take prisoners most of the time. It was really cool to see that was a choice you guys made not to do. It was like,
that's
let's
one of the dynamics that I love about having a new player in Circle. Don't get me wrong, I loved everybody in the season 1 cast.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have like our full party fully return. But the flavor that Connor brings in it's different. Because if I remember right, he was the leading force of like, oh, we need a runner, we need a wirehead to be able to do these things. And he was the one who took that initiative, and we all just kind of followed along. And that was kind of a character arc over the past few episodes of my character, of like her earning her place on the team, and she's not just a scav anymore.
Right.
Like that's been a whole arc that came about because of that. And I love that new team dynamic.
Right. Like she immediately earned your respect when she became like, now I'm with you guys. And then she saved your asses in a lot of ways along the last 2 gigs. It's been very cool to see that, like, an NPC influence you guys in that way. But yeah, Diamond, go ahead. I know you had something you want to say.
Prisoners in general are just too expensive to keep.
They can be. It depends. It depends on how imprisoned they are. I feel like prisoners like Crash, where there's like a mutualism to letting them go, and then working with them later. That has been a pretty fun dynamic whenever that has been encountered by me in any of the Cyberpunk games I've been part of, whether that's been as a GM or a player. Whenever you have the dynamic of the prisoner freed, and it's because you respect them enough to do it, or that they have somehow got a benefit to being left alive, and then they go from being an enemy to being almost like an ally or a friend. We've played with that dynamic a lot at tables I've been part of, and it's really cool to see it in Neon Inferno for that reason alone, because it is something I've seen before, and it requires the players to allow it to happen. Because if they want to kill a person, they're going to kill them. But if you leave them to live, and you feel worth your time and effort to do that, it changes things. It changes the way you almost perceive the game and those characters you're playing at the time.
To be fair, how many times in season 1 had we tried to take captives, and then they would resist a little too much, and Wei would get frustrated, and then it would turn into some kind of slaughter, because then everybody's in murder hobo mode again.
Yeah, that's fair.
It just turned into torture. We tried to have prisoners.
You did for a little bit. For a little bit you did. And then, yeah, then bad things happened, and you decided to not be good people. And that was fine. That made sense. You guys were like gunned at every turn you got, and you guys made enemies with powerful people. You also made friends with powerful people.
Yeah.
And
one of my favorite... Oh, sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, I was just saying that like usually produces that kind of conflict where when you go to war, it's a slaughter. And when you have friends and the relaxation afterward, you always know it's kind of the calm before the next storm. It's never peace, never true peace. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like what I loved about like kind of for lack of a better term, the savage dynamic of like mid-game season 1 crew was we would try and take alternative routes. Like, we wouldn't just flex violence for the sake of bloodshed. Like, when we walked in, one of my favorite interrogations that we ever did was when we walked in, pressed the guy in the club, and told him to, like, go into a back corner so that we don't make a scene. And then I instantly, like, spine punched this dude and put him on the ground, and we just kind of circled him and screamed at him for 10 minutes.
I think that was, like, the first gig you actually played Way in as well. Because that was the gig where you guys went and reclaimed the drug lab.
Oh yeah, drug lab was first Way gig, so that would have been that.
Yeah, that was how Way hit the fucking scene. Was he came in and he's like, all right, so now that we've got all the sneaky shit aside, let's actually talk about what we're here to talk about. Spinal taps him and just like, holy shit, that's Way now. And it's like, yeah, immediately everyone respected Wei because it's like he's a man of quick action, and he knew that the guy was bullshitting them. It was good. I liked it. That was a lot of fun. That was a really, really fun one. But yeah, as far as you see, LCC says really hit him with the smacks person. Stop resisting. Smacks again. Yeah.
No, that actually happened to a guy. It was when we raided the police station for Rex, when we had the lineup of 4 people. And
True.
I think I can't remember what I was trying to get the one guy to do, but he like tried to fight back me. I think I was trying to like secure him in cuffs or something. And he tried to fight back because he didn't want to be like cuffed down. And I told him, no, you're going in these cuffs. And I think I let him resist one more time. And then I hit him. And it broke something in his ribs. And then I tried again, and he still resisted. So I beat the dude to death. And then the whole rest of the line of the cuffed up people in the station were like, oh shit. Q2 more of them getting dragon's breath while already handcuffed because they were smart.
Yeah, that was... Ooh.
That was an experience.
That was indeed the Wei experience right there. Let's see. No, the scene... let's see... I'm trying to
Man
interpret.
got literally his whole team cooked.
Damn elbows out of that guy, exactly. The scene moved for why it was so scary. Let him try to break him. I'm trying to translate that, culture nerd, but that's a tricky one. I don't know if I can fully make sense of that.
The scene.
Yeah, I don't know that I can translate that. But if either of you come up with an interpretation, please.
I don't know. This one's a little bit off for me.
Yeah, that one's a little gone, unfortunately. But yeah, if you want to read that through again, culture nerd, and run that back bias, I'm interested to hear what you have to say. But yeah, I just can't make sense of the way it's been written there. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm really excited for where Neon Inferno goes in the future. Season 2 is going to be a lot of fun. This whole, like, we're off to a great start with it already. But, like, we are just starting. It is just
Cody
the beginning.
Or not Cody. What was it, Cody? I'm trying to remember who it is. That was Blue's character. Blue's character is Ghost, right? Ghost plays Blue, right?
Yeah, I play Blue.
Yeah. I suppose we'll need to get together and think on this, but I guess also keep your eyes peeled because Blue's about to go on a trip at some point.
Yeah, there's some homebrew diamonds cooking that Blue is going to test for us live on stream, which is going to be...
Wait, live on stream? Or... I didn't know if this would be a YouTube
recorded.
thing.
At the very least, it's going to be recorded. I don't know if it's going to be
Or
live
on a different day on Twitch, because like I'm not available on Monday nights.
No, yeah. Well, Monday it wouldn't be a Monday. It'll be... It might be another... We could do it on like a Tuesday if Ghost is free, but yeah.
Just hit me whenever you start having a date in mind, because I'm usually free most days. The thing with me is I'm usually free, but you still run a plan by me because I'll get hit with random shit and be like, oh yeah, it turns out I am actually busy that day.
I'm actually, yeah.
No worries. It's a little morbid, and I've got it kind of worked out.
Yeah, no, we'll you know, plans are in the works, people. That's all you really need to know. Plans are in the works. We talked about this between the three of us after Neon Inferno 2 weeks ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it made me excited. So I am very interested to see where this goes. Let's see. Emmerron, meaning that when Wei came to the scene, and moved for him as a okay, gotcha. Okay, so that was WIU's Wei. Yeah, so it's W-E-I is how we spell his name. So that's why I was mixing that up. Okay, cool. So when Wei came to the scene, the dude moved for him as it was how powerful he was going to be. So I was scared. Sorry for grumble typing on my phone before class. So keyboard small. Dyslexia makes it worse. No problem. No, you're good. And trust me, like I that's why I'm like, I want to hear what you have to say. I just did not know how to translate that. That makes sense. So Wei, yeah, when Wei came on the scene, everyone fucking moved out of his way, and it really, yeah, that was an impressive entry, for
Wei
sure.
was a force of nature for a long time. Like, looking back, I love looking back on the points where there were moments of being humbled. Like, I'm pretty sure it was after the church because the session had drug on so long. I should have known something was up. And then we go into a parking lot or parking garage basement into the dark thinking nothing's going to go wrong. And I lose my brand new cleaver before I get to cut anybody with it. It's like my saddest day of that campaign.
Oh,
Yeah, and then from
city
that
giveth
point
and the
on,
city yoinketh.
yeah, the city giveth, the city yoinketh. That is a great words to live by. Words of wisdom. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I've got to say. So, like, to answer a question that's been sitting out there for me to answer for a little bit. My favorite gig, thus far, actually was the bright god final confrontation gig, episode 5. I think was like probably my favorite. Like it's tied between that and the actual season 1 finale, because the season 1 finale was nuts for all kinds of other reasons, and there was a lot of player interaction there that like was led by you guys, and it wasn't really written by me in the same way I would normally write a gig. So like season 1 finale was a great gig, and it was truly watching a plan come together and just chaos, absolute chaos unfolding. But that feels kind of like a cop-out. Hi, Skinny. Hello, everyone. Skinny has arrived. With that said, to not feel as copped out and say, oh, the season finale of 1 was my favorite, episode 5 would have been like probably the one that I would say for the non-season finale, just because it really punctuated in the same kind of way that like Esther and Light Rail's death punctuated things and like set the tone for certain things. The Bright God confrontation felt like it was like a mid-season finale all unto itself. And it really defined like how life paths were so powerful and how I use them to you guys and how I would use them for Neon Inferno as a writer. So that one really left an impact on my memory in terms of like how much was kind of at play and at stake in that. Especially Electo was shooting Persephone and Persephone's dad was dope. Yeah. The smart rocket thing. Yeah, we were just talking about that earlier tonight too. How she blew away Persephone's dad with a smart rocket. And I was like, yep, that was a good moment. That was a real good moment. I liked that moment. That was a moment I'll have a fond memory of for a really long time. It's like you get that, and you get Yuria getting kicked out a window in the same part of the gig. It was the same beat. That was the crazy part.
Yeah, that was the we go back to the episode 5 gig. It was like that perfect, like the only way I could relate is like the Red Dead Redemption ending, man. Like you're riding a high to hit your ultimate fucking low. Yeah, like that, just that walkout, like the
light rail death in super early on kind of like hardened us and made us take things seriously. That I think hardened the entire squad into vets. Like when we came back around, it was like, all right, it's game time now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like this just got way more serious. Like this is not a joke anymore.
You know,
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, as far as things go, trying to think if there's any other questions I want to ask.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
What was the biggest backfired scenario, either positive or negative, for the crew of like, oh, that is not how I was expecting this to go?
The biggest moment where things like flew way off the rails. I've actually got to think about that because,
that's why I said positive or negative, because there's been some times that we've like completely sidestepped half of what I'm sure was planned, and then there's been other times where we've hit every bit of what was planned, and that's not a good thing to have happen.
yeah. Damn, like that is because now I've got to like go back through my memories of season 1 and like really dig and think of like what was stuff that I like wrote and what was the stuff that was responses and reactions to like what you guys had done at the table that same like that you'd done that week, and I just then responded to it by writing something. Because like you'd be surprised how often that's the way I write gigs, where it's like I start with a hook, and some gigs I don't even write more than a hook. I just hook it, and then I see where the hook takes us. I'll like put some key facts about the gig that I want to have happen, like my key beats for later. But how we get to them is not something I deeply define, if I define it at all, because I know you guys will fill the blanks, and it's like not something I need to worry as much about planning on my end. Because I have trust in you guys doing something that'll be really fun and creative, and I don't need to hold your hand by predetermining like this is the way it's gonna work. Because let me think. Were there any moments where it really flew off the rails in the first arc? Not really. Like
The earliest that I can think of that it went completely off the rails and like and probably should was when Wei first became the Kool-Aid Man. When we did the jailbreak for
Royal.
and we just
Yeah.
set off the alarm, insta burned our fucking sign on Netrunner, gave zero shits. A member of the party actually knew them and was devastated.
Yeah, that was well,
That one went a little wild.
because Erica even mentioned that was part of why she was okay going villain arc at the end, was because that was one of the first major gigs she ran with the new team of edge runners, and she's like, my friend is dead because of these people, and they haven't shown care for anything we've done since, so I'm going to make sure they remember, and I'm like, damn, that is impressive. I love that.
LCC not false. You should unplug.
That sounds like skill issue. Culture nerd. Gotta go to class. Starts in 5 minutes. So bye, Chumas. Yeah, see you later, culture nerd. Have a good one.
Hope class goes well.
Off the hinges. Let me think. There was a point. I'm trying to remember what the beat I wanted to make happen, because I remember the micro arc of when this all occurred, but there was like a beat I was trying to make happen, and we kept having to cut a session like short, like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and the final beat would have put an end to the micro arc, but because I never could tap that at the end, I had to keep going. And I was like, please, I just want to be done with this arc. And that kept driving me nuts. And that was less you guys choosing to go off the rails and more just when we had to stop. And I was like, ugh. And it was that's probably like
That's where we had like the yellow filler week because if I remember right, that was like a gap in between gaps.
The ELO filler week was not that. No, it was earlier than that. It was during the Continental Brands thing. Like that was supposed to be a different kind of arc. What followed, like where we ended up getting to the point of like the Inquisitors and all of that. That happened only because we kept having things get cut short by a beat, and it was supposed to lead to Continental Brands being another enemy of yours in the long run, and they ended up not playing as pivotal a role in that because that's what I was trying to write them in to be, and you guys kept like forcing by when we had to keep cutting, it kept forcing my hand like, okay, can't do that. So by the time we got to the end of the arc that like really ended that arc that was leading into, the structure of everything had totally changed, and I couldn't do that anymore. And so I was like, fuck, okay, well, this is what we're doing now. And that's where it led into, that's where I was thankful for your life path in particular, because that's where it led to like the Red Barracuda arc, was solely because of the way that I couldn't resolve Continental Brands the way that I initially thought to. And so it became the Red Barracuda arc kind of supplanted that.
Yeah, like contracting pirates because they needed the outside source to come in and fuck some shit up, and they had a reputation.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Bro, how can net damage be real? Just unplug.
No. You know, that's more true than you actually know. That is how Ghost survived like an entire session. Like my original character Ghost was because I cheesed that one cyber deck that I could keep unplugging from the system with.
Yeah, that's true.
That kept me alive for like an extra 3 or 4 turns because I had somebody in the system to hold the door open for me. The
I
beauty
love
of
that,
double
like,
Netrunner.
You have 2 Netrunner mains and a guy who played his first character as a Netrunner here, and all of us are just like, fuck. Why? Oh, that's funny.
Yes, what? 9, 10 floors deep into Continental Brands net. If I pulled the plug, I would have got hit by everything on the way out the door.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I stealth my way into networks, not whatever the fuck y'all do.
You don't ice pick. Ice picking is where you like stop and fight everything.
I ice pick only when I must. I just move.
Yeah,
well, I mean, even for a brain burning disengage, it's smart, like, because like say you dive down to the 10th level of the system, you get what you need done, and then whatever is in the system is starting to catch up with you, or it spots you again, or you get a red flag and something else shows up. Because of how there's like the separation between actions and movement, all that you have to do with one of the specialty cyber decks is you use your 3 net actions and then physically move yourself out of the space, but it'll treat it as a safe out. So you can literally just leave.
If you've got the right tech, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a specialty cyber deck. That's what I was saying. I cheesed that. That's how I kept dancing in and out while somebody held the system open.
Well, like the time I was at Continental Brands Tower, when I was in a net, to understand this thing was kind of massive, and there was more killers, hellhounds, ravens, a dragon, and a couple giants on the way down. If I got hit by all of that on the way out, I only have 40 hit points. I would have been fried.
You would have flatlined. You would have flatlined hard. That's no question at all. But as far as
that
like,
character, sorry, I just need to make a note because of how weak that character was. It was 30 HP, and I can't remember if it was 25, 30 HP, but we slayed a Kraken.
You did?
And I didn't die in the net. That character didn't die because he failed in net running. He died trying to be Borged enough to not die in the net.
Yeah, that's true too. But as far as like a positive off the rails, to think of that really quick, because there have been times, and I'm trying to think of like a really standout one where like positive off the rails thinking happened. No, I know one exactly where I was like, it was partly set up by like what I had done, but the way you guys kind of handled the end of the season finale, I mean, Erica approached me and said, I want to take this off the rails. So there's that to start with. But then the moment where Zeke gets to the stage set up like a block away from the NorCal military base, causing a fucking riot, and a tank comes, blows the stage out from under him, and the dude doesn't stop playing. He walks toward the tank, bass still pumping out of his micro amp, and then the fucking Nomad vehicle comes screeching around the corner, Electo in tow. She leaps out over the tank, throws a grenade down the hatch, and blows it sky high, and then hightails it out of there with fucking Ghost. Like, I didn't write for any of that to happen. That was entirely player choice at that stage. And all of it was so fucking cool. That was so cool.
I think for me, it was just the very quick and decisive choice that the party made to just kill Persephone. There was no hesitation when Persephone left with the bomb.
No, they all knew what was happening, and none of them. Well, like there were a few that wanted to deny that was the truth of it, and then when the real story was out, no one could deny it. Yeah, everyone.
That's
was
why
decided.
I'm so glad that we had a party split there, because the two characters that specifically went after her and kept pursuing was the one who really didn't want to kill her and the one who was dead set on killing her.
Yep.
And that's what created that last second tension that ended up like basically blue balling that final boss battle and having us just kind of walk our separate ways.
Yep. No, it's fun.
Yeah, that was just story peak. I loved that. Oh, that moment of like, wait, this wasn't the intention. Like, there was a genuine shock on the player side that he actually wasn't intending to kill her, because I was fully like, all right, we're PvP mode. I'm going at this. Everybody dies.
Yeah, no. And yeah, then Dr. J's like, all right, well, you're either coming with me or not. That's your choice. And yeah,
I think the quote was, I didn't sign up for this shit, or I'm not here for this shit.
Yep.
And then he turned around and drove off, and then we had the moment of like, wait, what the fuck?
I am gonna go ahead and sign off for now. Nice hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, have a good
And
one,
of
Diamond.
course, happy anniversary to you from the Moonlighters team. So
Yeah, thank you.
we'll see you
No,
tomorrow. Unbox those cards finally.
I
Y'all have a good
them.
one.
They're right here. I can't wait.
Good night.
Bye,
Have a
Diamond.
good night. Thanks for popping in.
All right, and now big way on the screen. Readjust that real quick,
As it should be.
as it should be. Readjust
See,
that real
this is how I imagine. Like, when I say that he's just kind of being that lurking presence when people are like doing intimidation or conversation, he's just, if you overlap, like, make him twice your size in the background but slightly overlapped behind you, and just that imposing figure standing in the back. That is passive way.
That is way energy in a massive, accurate way there. But yeah, ultimately, like, I'm really proud of Neon Inferno. When I started this, my whole goal was just stream games live, because I've been running them offline for the last like 3 years before that, just about 2.5 years. I'd run them, 3 I'd been playing. So Neon Inferno started as a project where I just wanted to run my games live for people and kind of show, because like I had a couple times players at my private tables just saying like, wow, like this would be really fun to have people watching and like commenting on this. And I'm like, I agree. I would love to see that happen. So I made it happen. And so to see Neon Inferno become this thing that like we're no Critical Role, but my God, we have a great show. and it feels like like Cody said, it's like it is something I look forward to every week, and it is something that like I have genuine joy like making it and like working on the intros and everything as a GM. Like that has been really fun for me. It's made me love some of the things about just the like graphic design and video design aspects of it. Like this is all stuff I studied in as a college degree, and I haven't had a chance to really use it in my professional life till now. So it's really cool to get that opportunity and blend that with my love for this game and like the community around it. As kind of a final note from me, and in Ghost, if you have any other questions for me after this, feel free. But I do want it said.
It sounds like you're about to wrap, so just before you wrap, I do just want to throw out there while we are still like live and in the post game. Like, sure. I can't thank you enough for bringing me along on this journey, and like thank you to everybody who's been coming along on it with us. It's amazing to me to like see people get attached to my character. Like I don't know. It's something special, and I love it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I mean this for the cast definitely, but all of you in chat, like there's several of you that I've seen come back like week after week. Some of you for quite a while. Like some of you have been around that aren't friends of mine in real life since like the first 5 episodes on, and like know that means more than I could properly put into words ever for any of you. It's so validating to see such a creative endeavor that strikes at like the core of what I want to do as a creative person, like be validated by internet strangers. That is so powerful for me. And the fact that I have genuine like love in a community and that you guys really want to see and be part of things, like that is so wonderful to me. So thank you all, both the people who are still here live with us in Twitch right now, those of you who are watching this later on YouTube. From the bottom of my heart, really thank you for making me believe that I could make content worth other people's time, because there's been large parts of my life where I questioned whether I could do that. So to see that validated in such a resounding way is truly wonderful for me. So thank you. And Diamond said group has gotten chatter on Reddit. Really? Because like I know I advertise when I see threads like, does anyone know any good actual plays? I'm like, I run one, but that's very much like I'm the proud parent here who's like, my vote doesn't count. But I want the word to get around. But if my group's gotten chatter on Reddit, Diamond, DM me if you can think of a post or something that goes up, or if you see one like that in the future, definitely let me know, because like I love seeing that. Just not just because like obviously like I said, it makes me very, very proud. Oh yeah, that's fine. If you don't have one, it's fine. Even just hearing like chatter, it's been ages. Hey, I'll take it. And that's true. Like if it's been a while, totally fine. But I definitely appreciate getting to do this full time now, and like really digging in, getting to make content, getting to do stuff. All of that is because you guys believe in me, and you guys show up and you support me, and you're part of like not just like chat here or the comment section on YouTube, but part of like the Discord. Several of you at Artalsorian Games. I know like I most notably have a connection with Rob over there, Rob Barefoot, also known as Dice, because he kind of mentored me into the space before he was an employee over there. But truly, you guys also meeting you at Gen Con, getting to work alongside you at both Gen Con and PAX U this last year has been a massive motivator for me. So I truly want to thank all of you as well. from Mike and Lisa Pondsmith to Jay Gray to James Hutt. I mean, all of you, like talking with you, getting to pick your brains about things, getting to discuss my ideas with you and get your feedback on them. It's made me a better content creator, and it's been a real privilege getting to know you all to the degree that I have in just this last year. So thank you all as well for taking an interest in what I'm doing, and for inviting me along as someone who can kind of help grow your game. I really do appreciate the opportunities that I've been able to be part of through you guys as well. So thank you all. But with that all said, that all aside now, as I said before, Monday we will be back with the next actual episode of Neon Inferno season 2. And I'm very much looking forward to this one. I've been writing this one for the last couple weeks, and I've got a really good idea of every part of it now. I'm going to put some polishing touches on it over the course of the next week or so here. But it's very much ready. It's very much cooked. I'm ready to present this to the world, and it's going to be a great time. But yeah, keep an eye out. More content to come, as always. We did just pass the 500 subscriber milestone here in the last week, which is unreal to me. Just to see that many people take an interest in my content is humbling, to say the absolute least. So thank you again for that. But yeah, plenty more to come. I've got some videos in the pipeline that I really need to get down and edit. Palworld has sucked a ton of my time over last week, and then my trip this weekend took some more of it. So this week I'm going to focus on trying to double down and getting some of that done in my spare time. But yeah, for me and for all of us that are part of Neon Inferno, I hope all of you, whether you're here live with us on Twitch or watching this later on YouTube, have a wonderful morning, evening, or afternoon wherever in the world. Stay healthy, stay safe, and until we talk again, peace.